Hey, bitches. So, you've probably been looking at the title. You've probably seen the title of this video, so you already know what's coming. But, this is sort of inspired by, a deck that I got from Martin. And I was like, damn, I really love working with oddly shaped decks. It's interesting. I don't know why. And I kind of want to... I can't stop touching this mat. This is the Mystic Metals Divination mat that I got from Maeve, and it's just so good. It feels so comfy to touch. But I really wanted to like take a look at those decks, all the decks that I have that are oddly shaped. And what I've kind of found out is that I have multiple deck shapes. But there's basically most decks are either tarot size, playing card size, or oracle card 3.5 by 5 inch size. So those we're not going to look at because those are the decks we all know. But some decks have different shapes for different reasons. And I wanted to kind of, I don't know, just take a look at the collection. Maybe this is sort of a precursor for the next month. I know that I was supposed to work with a little selection of all natural magical decks for May, and I haven't been liking it so far. Whereas with the pretty decks, I haven't had any problem at all using them for a whole month. And with these decks, I don't know. I have a couple of them that I like to work with and that I like to take out, but it's literally sort of been stifling my daily tarot practice. So, I may cut it short, and I may look at, all of these weirdly shaped decks and kind of, I don't know, feel inspired to do something else. So we basically have 4 categories. I have lots of circle decks. Then I have lots of square decks. Then I have some oval decks and some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1 octagonal a couple of octagonal decks. So I kind of wanted to just, take a look, take a gander. I do realize now that I have one crate that I didn't go through, so there may be some oddly shaped decks in there, but I kind of, I'm going to show a lot of them, and I'm going to talk about why I like working with them, what the shape adds to the reading other than it looking cool as fuck. And then, I kind of want to take it from there, and maybe this is also a little invitation for y'all to sort of, I don't know, show me your funky shaped decks. So I'm going to start with a deck that is a counterfeit. And I know I should feel really bad for having this, but the original is no longer available. And I have to say I barely use it. It's the Tarot of the Cloisters. So we're going to start with the round decks, obviously. It's really cute. It's sort of this stained glass thing. Yeah, I don't know. I got it when I was like sort of starting. I got this, like, I have to be honest with y'all, I haven't bought a fake deck in ages, but when I was starting out buying decks, I didn't know that fake decks existed. So I saw this and the Prisma Visions and the White Sage Tarot on AliExpress, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Those decks look really cool. I didn't even know that, there was such a thing as fake decks. And, I do like this one a lot, but it's very basic. It's very basic Rider-Waite-Smith. This is probably one of the scariest Sun cards ever. But for some reason, I don't know, it's kind of cute. It looks kind of cool. There are some, like, this, I feel like this could have been a classic like the Morgan Greer or the Aquarian Tarot, but for some reason it's not. What I do like about this is that this shuffles really, really, really well. It's not the thickest. Also, I feel like, I don't know what the original size of the Tarot of the Cloisters was, but this is a very nice size. This is a 3.5 by 3.5 inch size. And, you know, like I said, I bought a couple of these fake decks when I started. I've since gotten all the real versions of those decks. And I've used almost all of those fake decks more for like art journaling and creative projects. But I feel like out of all the fake decks, this one's actually the best quality. It's almost like it's not fake. Obviously, it came in this really fugly chuck box. So there's this company in the Netherlands called HEMA, and they have these sort of astrology affirmation cards, sort of kind of tins with the nice glass window. And I, you know, and they were so cheap and reduced in price that I just chucked the astrology cards and I used them for journaling as well, for art journaling. And I just use that as a container for this. So it's really cute. I like it. It's cute, but it's fake. Now, what makes a round deck? Oh, I actually have way more, but I'm not going to grab them because I just started thinking, hey, I have the Kim Krans archetypes and I have the Kim Krans alchemy, but most of y'all have seen that, so maybe it's time for some less known decks to take the spotlight. Accurate as fuck tarot. So I was saying, what makes reading with a round deck interesting? What does it add to the reading perspective? Like, I've seen some interesting theories, like some people read it as the way the cards land are you can read it as waxing and waning. I love this King of Wands, by the way. I mean, look at him. So this is slightly bigger. I actually really like it. The one thing that I have noticed, and I'm a rose petal finish queen, is that rose petal finish for round cards is not the tea. So you could read it as waxing and waning. So I'd say this is if this card were to come onto the table like this, I'd say this energy, this Spirit of Wands, which I believe is the page, that enthusiastic, adventurous energy is sort of at its height, but is about to wane. So, you know, that gives you some interesting, this upheaval and conflict energy in the tower. You know, it's already kind of, you've been through the worst. That energy is waning right now. So, you know, you're just past, if this is new moon, this is full moon, then we're in the waning phase. So that's interesting, you know, like you could look at the cards like that. I do like this deck a lot. It is one of my favorites. I still would love to get my, like I said, I said this before, I hate it when people have 20 copies of the same deck. I feel like it's extremely wasteful, especially when it's an out of print deck and there's lots of other people that want it. You know, just sell it. Oh, I love this King of Swords. You know, but there was once a first edition of this that I actually like a little bit better. So if anybody ever wants to get rid of their first edition Accurate as Fuck Tarot and maybe wants to do a trade or something for something else I'm open for that. So yeah, but I do like that deck a lot. And you know what's really funny? A lot of these round decks, especially slightly older ones, but also newer ones, are actually, I don't know, they're really, really, really special. They have a special vibe about them. For example, this one, the Cosmic Deck of Initiation. I got this from Martin for my birthday. This is extremely rare right now. It's really difficult to get. It even comes with 2 tuck boxes, a plain one and a colored one, by Barbara DeLong. Barbara DeLong with her schlong. Just kidding, but it's a funny name. This is a US Games deck as well. It's really difficult to come by. It's a fun Oracle deck, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's very old school. It's cute. There's cute terms in here. The cardstock is nice. The finish is really nice. It's that old US Games finish. And this is mandalas, and it's very, very, very usable. Very usable keywords. There's some zodiac stuff going on. There's laws, there's universal things, there's archetypes. And, you know, like, this, I don't know, I just love the new age feel of this with all the mandalas. I love how the cards snap. So there's 2 Guardian Angel cards in here, and I feel like I got this deck for my birthday from Martin, but it's been such a hectic week that I haven't even been able to really delve into all the goodies that I got, not even just from him, but from other friends as well. I feel like there is a really interesting system hidden in here, and, you know, it's just a very loving creation, and Barbara DeLong created and illustrated this. And it's funny because I showed it to Willem because he likes colorful stuff like this, but he was like, it looks a little bit old, and I was like, yeah, that's because it is. It's quite old, actually. This is actually from, let me check the publishing date. 1991. So this is a 90s deck, and I don't know, it's cute. I think it's really cute. I rarely ever hear people talk about this. I do see this on websites a lot where it gets sold for like a fuck ton of money. But I'm not selling this because I love it. And I don't know, these round decks, man, like, but this one doesn't really have that waxing, waning energy to it because it's kind of, because it has the titles all over the cards, but still, it's, you know, it's interesting, especially these mandala types. You need to have those on round cards, am I right? They just look better like that. I actually really like this. I think this is really cool. And I can't wait to, it has a little white book, but I can't wait to check it out. This is back when US Games still printed in Belgium. So yeah, really cool little deck. In the same vein, The Circles of Healing by Alana Fairchild. Now, this is a very similar style deck. But a bit more modern and a bit more colorful. I may actually use them together, see if that's interesting. This is an Alana Fairchild deck, and it has all these really intricate mandalas, and then a sort of an affirmation around the edges, and I really, really like this deck. You know what's really weird, though? So there were these, like, I don't know, Tarot and Oracle Visionary Awards, and it was all about the art, right? The art in Tarot and Oracle. And because Alana is credited as the sole author, because the art was obviously commissioned. I should not be saying this wrong. Let's look at this really quickly. Yeah. So the art is by Beth Wilson, but it was commissioned, I guess, or it was pre-existing art. But because Alana is the sole author on the box, she got nominated for this deck, and I was like, no, you did the written portion. The art was actually done by Beth, and I found that very strange. But anyways, it's really, really, really stunning. There is not necessarily an explanation as to why this mandala was chosen for that affirmation in the book. So it may just have been, you know, random mandalas on cards with, it doesn't really have any rhyme or reason to it per se. But it looks pretty and the writing is good and it looks really good on the table. So, you know, you could even almost use it as a charm casting thing, especially on this mat, where you could use some of the words as correspondences. I don't know. It's a really interesting little deck. I got it for cheap, and I don't know. I'm just a sucker for a good mandala, y'all. Really, really, really like that. Oh yeah, this cute little set. The Mother Piece set by Karen Vogel and Vicky Noble. This deck got so much hate in the past couple of years because it's supposedly appropriating cultures, and I don't really care because it's such a classic. In this set, you get the mini round deck, a little guidebook that's a bit chunkier than most, but there's an even bigger guidebook. And look what I also found. This is so cute. You get this really cute sort of fugly but cute sock-like deck bag that you can put the deck in, and it's just, I don't know, it's everything. I think, you know, like, Llewellyn, take note. If you're gonna do kits, do them like this. This is fun, you know? This is fun to store. So Martin was like, I can't believe you don't fucking have this deck. You need it. I have 20 copies of it, so I'm giving you the pocket one, which I adore because I do love me a good mini deck. Now, this is very mini, so I'm going to be holding it up. But this is really pretty. And once again, I could totally read this as waxing and waning energies in the life, because of, you know, the card titles. So this Three of Swords energy is waning right now. It's almost gone. Same with this Ten of Swords energy. The Shaman of Swords is sort of waxing. So we're about to have that crescendo moment. Same with this Ace of Discs. So, you know, that's really interesting. This is a classic. Obviously, you know, with round cards, it's difficult to constantly show them at the right angle. So this is not necessarily a deck flip through, but I really, really do like that aspect of round decks, being able to add that layer to your readings. Whereas with a normal type deck, you would have the wax, you would have the upright or the reversal if you're into that. But I feel like this adds opportunity to add so much more to your readings, and I do find this really interesting, and I find the art very raw and shamanic, and this is it's such a neat little package. This really like that. I like, if you're gonna do a kit, do it like this. And you know, and this is one of those older decks that's it's just so special. I mean, come on. Same with this. You're going to see this box for a long time because it's difficult to get off. The Star That Never Walks Around. This is a Native American tarot package. The guidebook is interesting because every like bit of symbolism does get explained. It has a neat guidebook. It's on sort of glossy cardstock. I love the backs. So these are a little bit bigger. I kind of like this side. Like I like smaller round decks. There's there's two that are both really big, and they're okay. But you know, like I can't have too many of those. I used to have the Gorgon's Tarot. That was ginormous, and I couldn't really work with it, so I rehomed it. So this is a really cute little Native American tarot deck. Once again, because we have these fixed titles, which I think is stylistically very interesting, where we get this sort of wooden branch photoshopped right there in the card, and we get the art over here and the title fixed over there. You know, that way we can once again use that waxing, waning vibe when we read. And, you know, there's probably tons more that you can use. I believe in the archetype deck, Kim Kranz mentions different ways to read a round deck. Maybe I should grab it out of the closet. It is behind me after all. Or maybe I'm not gonna, but I just really like, once again, this is a really raw shamanic deck. And decks like these, you know, that with that raw intention behind them, they wouldn't stand a chance at getting published in this day and age, because unless you're a art academy superstar with a huge following online, you're never gonna get published. So this is one that not a lot of people talk about, but that I find really dope. And if you can find a copy, it's really interesting. I've learned a lot from working with it. I didn't know that much about Native American cultures, and a lot of the tribes get, you know, mentioned in here, and it's really interesting. So I found it really cool. Ooh, another one that's really, really pretty. The Daughters of the Moon, which is an indie deck in English-speaking territories, but here in the Netherlands, it's just a mass market deck. So that's why I got it, because, you know, finding the English version is really difficult. I love this deck. I love the back. I love a simple back. I find it really interesting. So these cards are a bit bigger, and I find it quite difficult to shuffle them, but, you know, I manage. Especially this deck gets a pass because it's just absolutely stunning and gorgeous. And once again, because we do have these fixed card titles, we can, you know, we can easily work with them, and we see women of all walks of life in here. So this is not a full tarot deck because it omits the kings and the knights and the pages, and it replaces them with maiden, mother, crone, I think. Yeah. But it's really pretty. Women of all walks of life, all cultures. It's an interesting deck. It's really, really cool. It's very old. It really has sort of a... I don't know when this was made, but I can definitely tell in the guidebook. There's probably something about licensing in there. In the colophon. 1984, yes, 1984. Wow, it's really dope. Really, 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 really dope. So yeah, really special. I do happen to have a thing for decks from the 80s. I always like that 80s aesthetic. And once again, it's kind of rough around the edges. But, you know, back then, this was, like, really interesting and different from, you know, the standard Rider-Waite Smith. This was revolutionary. And I believe that they were, the Mother piece and this one were sort of created around the same time, which is interesting. So they were kind of toying with a similar idea. Fiona Morgan also mentions the Mother piece in this guidebook. They do kind of have a similar vibe, and it's just really, really, really pretty, really interesting. Look at this. The Four of Flames. Like, the translation of this is sometimes a little bit weird, but Three of Blades. Really, really, really cool. The minors are interesting. I have to get used to them. For example, I drew the Two of Cups a bit earlier. Yeah. And I was like, this is so fucking sad. This doesn't read as Two of Cups at all. But then there are sort of these oracle keywords down below. You can tell that this is an early indie effort because it's not so polished all the time. So sometimes cards will have little mistakes on them or will lack numbers or titles, but it's interesting. You know, this is probably one of the first indie decks to kind of make it big, so I find that really cool. And then last but not least, well, it's not last at all, I'm lying. The Cantigi Oracle. It's also really big, but really good. I love it. I love this guidebook, y'all. It's just so good. So much interesting information in here. So Laura Zuspan is an artist that's on this list twice, so that's interesting. She has a knack for oddly shaped decks. Look at that, the Dark Solstice Sun. Like, this art is just so primal. Like, once again, what we see with a lot of these round decks is a lot of that more primal art. So, licking dew from green leaves. This is the first piece of art for this deck that I saw. I think it was like almost 3 years ago, and I was like, wow, have to have it. Thought it was going to be an indie effort. Squealed when I found out that it was going to be a mass market release, because that makes shit so much more affordable, doesn't it? A Swarm of Bees. Guided by Polaris. And once again, this has fixed titles as well. So while you could read, because you do need to read the guidebook for most cards, you know, like there are some messages that you can you know, intuitively read, but for most of them you kind of have to read the guidebook. But then you could still look at it as okay, I just read that, but depending on the way the card landed, this energy is either waxing or waning for me. So that's really cool. It's a really interesting deck. I love the backs. I think that's really stunning too, and I don't know, I just love once again, love the rawness. Like, I really feel like in 30 years, if I'm still on Instagram, if that exists, kids are gonna ask me about this deck and that I was so lucky to have it. I feel like it's gonna be a classic. So I have one more, and this is kind of a little sneak preview of things to come. It's the Brothers of the Rose Tarot. This is just the majors, but the full deck is done, so I'm literally awaiting a prototype copy. This is quite small too. This is a deck that I made. It's a round tarot deck featuring photo collage style art. Well, it has photo collage. That I loved making. Like, I was like, I want to try, I did it one time before, but I was like, I want to try to make a photo collage style tarot deck. And for some reason, it became this round deck with fixed titles, so you can use the waxing waning method if you wanted to. That really does add a different dimension to the reading now, does it? It was really interesting looking for cool royalty-free stock photos to use. I kind of wanted to make it a bit surrealistic as well. I was kind of inspired by Daniel Noel and Alejandra Leon, and I just wanted to see if I could do it, and turns out I can. I can do it. Look at him. Look at that sun. I love this world card. This wasn't even, so this wasn't collage. This was just a gorgeous royalty-free photo that I found. And I was like, this is going to have to be the world. I mean, come on. So for this Hanged Man, I added a bit of illustration as well. I love how campy this Judgment Angel is. It kind of reminds me of the angels in the Energy Oracle deck by Sandra Ann Taylor. Don't know if you guys remember that. I love this moon, and I also love this Fool. So yeah, these are just the majors plus 2 bonus cards, but I have the all the other cards coming in. So can't wait to show y'all. So that was the round decks, and we're already 30 minutes in, so I'm going to have to hurry. Square decks. The Radiant Souls Oracle deck by Cat Crow. It's a really cool little deck. I've done a review on this a while ago. I haven't really used it a whole bunch since. I'm going to have to be honest with y'all. It's a really funky little deck that makes use of the directions in the four corners of the cards. Let me show you an example right here. This is actually a really good way to outline your cards as well. So, yes. So you get a couple of archetypes. So we get the immersed, the cryptic, the expressive, and the subconscious. And as you can see, in every corner there are keywords, and together they form sort of a sentence. It's not grammatically correct because that would be impossible, but still. Realignment, difficulty, a message, passion. So we're going to be experiencing some difficulty. Well, you could read this several ways, but if we're having... I always read this, I read it in the order that I lay it down in. So we're going to be realigning ourselves, but we're going to experience some difficulty with that, especially in the way we get messages, the way we digest communication and messages coming from outside ourselves that are aimed at us. But if we stay passionate about whatever it is that we do, we can probably overcome it. And you could like add cards or add a card over here. Oh, I'm not gonna mess that up. Add a card, add some cards over here, add some cards over here, expand it a little bit. You could do a whole bunch of cool stuff with this deck. It is a little too funky for me aesthetically when it comes to, like, say, my Instagram posts and what I like to show on there. But as a usable tool, I think it's really brilliant. So yeah, I do like it a lot. And it's really making use of the square shape. Because, you know, square is kind of boring. Because, you know, regular cards have 4 sides as well. But I do find it interesting when creators who make a square shaped deck make use of the fact that there are 4 equal sides. It's in this really annoying little Game Crafter tuck box. Game Crafter packaging sucks. Like, I kind of like their cardstock, but their packaging sucks. Oh, I actually forgot a round deck. What the F? One of my favorites, Spirit de la Lune. It's one of the most forgotten about round decks. If you ever wanted a good Lunar deck, like that's actually good and makes sense, this is it. It has gorgeous backs with holographic foil, and it has sort of these... So this is small too. I like that a lot. So this has the moon phases. It has the zodiac signs. It has special moons like the wolf moon, the crone moon, and it sort of has these mandala-like art on the cards, and it's just really special. And you know what's fun when decks like this are so small? You can literally, for example, on a mat like this, you could literally do a little reading. So where do we find our wealth in our power to create? Where do we need some guidance when it comes to emotional and physical support? What about our home? We're content. What about our career? You know, we got the crone moon, so that's deep wisdom. So that's interesting. So we're going to be, you know, expanding our wisdom a little bit. What about our social life? We're getting Leo energy. I don't like that. Ew. What about our health? We get the planting moon, so we need to prepare for something to come. That's interesting. So we probably need to plan our health a little bit better. What about our love? It's very abundant. And then we get the spirit, advice from spirit. That's asking us to rejuvenate a little bit. And then you could even pull a general topic. Ooh, and there we get the Taurus, which is what I am. That's my sun sign, the lover. So it has it's really usable. It's really pretty. Also kind of has that cool shamanic style of art. And I do love me this box. And I also love, I know a lot of people hate them, but they don't suck when they're done right. These foam inlays. Say I do a Kickstarter for my Brother of the Rose tarot, I would like to have a box like this, but there would have to be a ribbon beneath the foam inlay, or else, you know? Because, you know, square boxes are handy, and it's a really pretty deck, so sorry about me forgetting that. Back to squares. So we get the Sigil Oracle, which is really cool. It's by the Hollow Valley, Erin Elise Borsak. Such a shame she uses Make Playing Cards as a printer when she's doing her Kickstarters because, you know, like their card quality is, you know, it's fine, but especially their smooth matte lamination doesn't hold up too well. This is sigils, and I really enjoy the aesthetic of Erin's sigils. Like, I could literally have any sigil from this deck as a tattoo. And I really like it. It's an affirmation deck, but we're making it kind of witchy by adding sigils onto them. And I don't know, it's very earthy, it's very grounded looking. I'm being soft with myself. It's one of my favorite sigils in the deck. And it's cute. There's not a whole lot to say about this. It's just, it is what it is. It's cute. It's a cute little deck, and let's just leave it at that. I should probably use it more, but this is definitely one that I'm never going to rehome because I like it so much. Another Alana deck, Dimensions of Light. This is sort of a bibliomancy style deck where you get these really gorgeous, do I have them in the right? You get these really gorgeous little mandala style, super soft, hand painted, super vibrant pieces of art that look really cool. Sometimes they look alike, they look a bit alike, but they're really, really dope. They've been done by this British guy, and they're kind of trippy, and I don't know, I kind of like that. Lots of sacred geometry in here. So let's say because for some reason this one triggers me. So I'm like, this is cool. So you turn the card over, and this is actually number 6. So in the guidebook, you go to card number 6, and it says Soul Talent. All right, let's read about that. Nurturing a raw talent through exploration and expression transforms it into a potentially sacred offering to the world. Even abundant natural talent may evoke testing from the universe so that the depths of beauty and ability can be distilled. Parts of your journey this lifetime involves the discovery and development of a particular soul ability. It is a precious pearl at times, heart won. However, it can bring about incredible joy and fulfillment for you and others. Commit yourself to the development of your soul abilities with courage, detachment, and a sense of humor. There is a higher purpose to your inner growth. Whether it seems practical or not, there is great value in your journey and good things shall come of it. So that's kind of how I like to use this deck. Why is it square? Probably because it fits the art format. So there's nothing special about the usage of this. I just find it an interesting little set. Got it for a good price, and I do enjoy it. So yeah. Ooh, one of my favorites, the Pathfinder by Andy Schwartz. So this is not square shaped, this is diamond shaped. So what you're supposed to do is you shuffle your cards. So I'm just going to shuffle them a couple times. Then you kind of turn them like a wind up egg timer. And then what you do is, let's split the deck. You put them down just like this. Bloop. 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 It doesn't really fit, but hey, whatever. We can do it like this so we can all see, right? And bloop. So what's interesting is we have a positive, negative, passive, and active meaning. And whichever one lands on top, that's the one you're going to read. So we got the flower as positive. So we're going to be blooming. We're going to be growing. We're going to be unfolding ourselves. So that's interesting. And then we got the cup. So the cup is the vessel containing all of our emotions, and that's in the active position. So we're going to be involving our emotions a little bit more. The home is active as well. So we're going to be spending lots of time there and doing some work around the house. And then we got the tower, which is all about stability, and that's in the positive sense as well. So you can kind of read it like that. You can read it however you want to. I feel like this one, it did really, really well, and I feel like back in the day, everyone and their mother had this, but this wasn't, like, this was kind of a flop, which is a shame because to me it reads beautifully because I'm really into symbology. Pathfinder Oracle deck is a hit. Obviously, my own, the Brother to Brother, such a cute little set. Really cute little illustrations. I didn't really make use of the square shape, but it's a funny story. I once actually created a square Oracle deck that was kind of like Andy's, where it was like every side had an element attached to it, and the way the card landed kind of stood for the way you should read it. So, you know, like if it landed on, they were archetypes. And if the archetype landed on water, there will be a water way to read the card. If the archetype landed on fire, it was cool, it was interesting, but it was also a little bit annoying, me being pretentious, and eventually it kind of turned into this deck, and I feel like, and I kept the square shape, although I didn't really make use of the squareness of the deck either. But you know, I also do like square things because they tend to be a bit more pocket and a bit more tiny. And with this one, I feel like I can always take it with me because it is so compact. The next one is actually a really cute little mini deck that comes with the Wild Wisdom Companion book by Maya Toll. And this is really, really pretty. This is the book. This is square because the book is square. So it's literally the illustrations from the book, sort of in Oracle card form. They're really pretty. They're really dope. There's gorgeous animal symbolism, nature symbolism in here. And you're sort of supposed to shuffle them and kind of look at the page in the book to sort of get a message and to also sometimes get a ritual. And it's very much based around the wheel of the year and the solstices and stuff like that. And I have to say, and you know, like, I give credit where credit's due. It very much was Maya Toll's writing that inspired me to create the Brother to Brother Oracle deck. So that's interesting. And those were all the square decks I got. So we're almost done now. Off to the oval decks. And this is the Wild Child Oracle cards. And I adore this. So this is not always super usable, but mostly. Because this does have keywords that I can kind of use. And they're pretty. I love this shape of card. This is old playing cards. Old playing cards from Belgium. used to have this shape, which is really interesting. Not all of them, but they have found quite a couple of decks that have this shape. I do feel like some of the art in this deck was maybe a little bit rushed because some of it looks really detailed, some of it looks really sparse. Still, I love this. I think it's really cute. I think most of the keywords and concepts really resonate with me, and I love it. I really love it. It's a treasure. I got this from Tivada, and it was worth every penny. It's gorgeous. Another deck in this shape is my first indie tarot deck. Like, my first indie decks were such high quality that I was literally, I don't know, like, too spoiled from the beginning. The Luminous Void. Everyone must... This is also by Laura Zuspan, who also did the Cantigi Oracle. This is her tarot deck. It's stunning, it's weird, it's creepy, it's everything, and I'm never getting rid of it. It's thothy, it's golden dawny. I love the queens. Like, it's really, really creepy. You know, once again, really cool shamanic stuff. Look at that devil. I mean, come on. The Sun, this is one of my favorite cards, but, you know, I feel like most people have seen these already. So a lot of people ask how they shuffle these oval cards. Let me show you how they shuffle. I always corner riffle all my cards, so I can show you a proper riffle like some other people would do, but they shuffle just fine. So that's how you riffle shuffle an oval deck. Like, it's not that difficult. The quality of the set is really amazing too. If you can get your hands on this, it's really interesting. Now let's look at this, The Old Gods, by Scylla Conway. I vowed to never get a Scylla Conway deck because frankly, I don't really like her work. And then I saw this on Lisa Papez's channel. The octagon style card, I have to say, did pull me in. I did like that idea. And then I saw it was pips, and then I saw it was more, it was less dreamy and less abstract and more concrete depictions of gods. And I was like, and more collagey too, which made me go, yeah, I need to have this. So, also the fact that it's pips is really attractive to me, and it just looks really good. I wonder why people would choose this shape for a deck though, because when we lay it down, does it have any function rather than, well, it does make for an interesting reading opportunity in the sense that you could put a couple of cards down, and you could put some charms in the in-between spaces to kind of find some correspondences here and there. So that could be interesting. But I don't know. Other than that, it just feels... I don't know what this shape does for me is that it kind of feels like it's almost like I'm looking at a window, or almost like I'm looking through a portal into an alternate reality, which is weird because you could say the same about a square or regular sized deck, but I don't have that with a regular sized deck necessarily. So for some reason, this shape really sucks me in. And then finally, when it comes to this shape of deck, yes, I caved and got this as well as this. And why? And I'm kind of bummed out by myself because I hate Liminal 11. I felt really stumped when they were aggressively marketing the Seed and Sickle Special Edition because of the Citadel. And then 2 weeks later, they announced the release of the Citadel, and still I decided to order it. because, you know, you can't help but love, I can't help but love Fez Inkwright's art. To be honest, though, I haven't really been playing with this that much. It's a stunning deck. It's quality-wise probably their best release so far, because it's not on that ghastly glossy cardstock that's too thick. And it doesn't have a gilded edge, but rather it has a matte edge that doesn't clump the cards together. So we get the Citadel and we get the deck of emblems, and it's all really gorgeous and it looks really good and it's really usable and I love it. I just haven't used it yet. So maybe I'm going to stop with the annoying, you know, natural magical theme, and maybe I'm going to actually start using my Aldi shaped decks a little bit more. It is nice, though. It's a nice deck. It's good art. I love me some good line art. I really like Fez Inkwright's work. So, but you know, there's probably 20,000 reviews of this on YouTube right now of people gushing all over this. I paid a lot for this. I like it, but you know, there's something about, I don't know, there's just something about Liminal 11 that I don't like. I didn't like the whole metaphysical cannabis oracle situation and the way people were treated by the creator of that deck. Friends of mine and also some people that I don't even really know, like, got it really hard from the author after some critical but fair reviews. And I was like, and then that whole Citadel thing happened, and you know, that kind of, and then they did a mass market release for the This Might Hurt, which also felt a little bit, I don't know, a little bit cheeky and cheap, you know, like, kind of like, come on, people, invest in new ideas, come on. But still, I got it, and I'm going to use it. I'm probably going to love it. So, this has been way too long already. I need to stop, but I just love my funky shaped decks, and I love that you took the time out of your day to watch this video. So, thanks for watching, and